good afternoon, those of the YouTube world. This is Nate the Forester, and this is my first YouTube video. Today we'll be working on a Mcculloch 510, walbro STC, tillotson HS, whichever kind of carb you want to convert onto it. Somebody has previously made a adapter for the bullfrog carb mount, which I'll be shown installing today. I'm gonna fast forward because there's a bad glare. So, as I was saying, we're working on a 510 Mcculloch. This is the adapter somebody had made at one time. It looks to be some piece of resin material. They took 2 screws in, 2 bolts, countersunk them in the backside, drilled the passageway for the what's called, and then put 2 ball holes for their original bullfrog carb mountain bolts. Let me step away for 1 second. Sorry about that. Typically I like to use a little bit of grease on old gaskets or any gaskets in general. It makes them pliable to take off later. They don't stick and it helps seal. So I typically try to do when installing carburetors, carburetor gaskets, you know the like. Okay, so first I'm going to put homemade gasket down. Get this side down first, like so. I'm going to set the carb spacer. Then they had 2 different bolts. Now I got a couple different bolts from originally what they had. I would have liked to find 2 matching bolts, but hardware store at the time did not have them. So I'm working with what I've got to work with, unfortunately. And unfortunately, one is a Phillips and one is a flathead, so I'm also dealing with that. But these original screws, like what would have held down the bullfrog carb, they're countersunk into this adapter as well. And this is my first time actually using this. It came in one of the saw I purchased as for parts, and I've tried to get the bullfrog carb to work on this saw and was never able to. So I figured, why not give it a shot? I mean, I can't get the bullfrog carb working. I'd like to keep the original upper tank half, or I guess that'd be the lower tank half, to keep it all original. And if that's air leak, then I'll make my own adapter out of aluminum. But for now, I'd like to try it. You may be able to see for a fuel line I have this barb. I I've actually found this to work very well on Mcculloch's. I have another one I'll bring over and show you. I use these are actually from Amazon. They're quarter hose barb through fittings. I think they're a couple bucks a piece. Quarter inch, this is about what they look like. Works very well, just use washer on both sides, and typically no fuel leak through. If you do, just take it back off, use some Permatex Ultra Black, Motor Seal gasket maker, Seal All works well. Any of the light will work very, very well. So, my carburetor choice today actually came on that part saw. It is actually a Tillotson HS43B. I have not tested this carburetor, and honestly, looking by the Venturi, it looks like it's going to be on the small side. So we'll have to see about that. But we can cross that road when it comes. For fuel line, I'm just using your typical tag-on, appropriate size tag-on. And yes, they what came on the other part saw, somebody had made this choke rod or choke linkage and throttle rod linkage. Let's see if I can get it. Okay. So I just robbed that off the part saw as well. Are you really not going to play nice? I just removed the bullfrog carb throttle linkage and the primer linkage. And I knocked out the roll pin and took the primer button out of the part saw and installed it in this one. There we go. Okay. Let me go grab some grease for this carb, base of this carb, and I will be right back. I'll grab some more. Alright. First I'm going to try to install the throttle rod. Then carburetor. Like I said, going forward, I would most likely attempt to make these removable. That way you could actually bolt it down instead of trying to slip it over the studs like they have it in this situation. But I figured I'd give it a try while I'm here. Well, that's interesting. seems like that will not work due to my barb fitting. May have to come up with a plan B, because it does not seem like that will work. Nope, it seems to be hitting on my barb pin. Okay, I'm gonna loosen it up, try to get it back out just a touch. And I can come back and tighten it up later. There we go. There we go. Now we're cooking. Except I gotta get the choke rod in. Come on. Play nice. There we go. And essentially, that's what it'll look like. At least that's what this one's gonna look like for now. Yep, that'll work. And what they originally had is this guy. Don't know if I necessarily like it, but for now it should work. There we go. Come on. Play nice with me. Like I said, this is something somebody else had made. I'm just attempting to try to use it for the time being. That choke open. Ooh, I do not believe it will. That down, does it open and close? Huh. That's odd. On the other side, it worked much well. The linkage worked much more fluidly. So I'm interested on why it's acting up now. Uh-oh. Well, besides the point. Well, actually, let me get this bolted down first. Let me get this bolted down first, and then I'll go back and address some of these issues. Interesting. Before, it worked very fluidly. I'm not quite sure what I have changed. So, just working things. Seems that I grabbed the wrong socket. Yes, I did. 1 second, let me grab the right socket. That may be it. Yep, that's it. Okay. So, seems to me, well, let me get my fuel line straightened out of here. Right here, sorry. Sorry, I may be all over the place here. So this is my first video. Hopefully this goes reasonably well. I may try to make a few more. Simple tips and tricks with some of the Mccullochs I found that work well. Pass along some ideas on pioneers, home lights, John Shredds, you name it, I may have it. Let's see, fuel line looks good. Go ahead and connect this side of the fuel line. May have to make that fuel line just a little bit longer, just so it doesn't kink, but for now it'll work. Like I said, I've used this on multiple Mccullochs for in-tank. Seems to work very well. Though no leaks, you don't have the problem of the aftermarket fuel lines that shrink with the ethanol. Personally, I can't find ethanol in my area. So I do run ethanol in my saws, typically 89 grade. And just run them out or empty them out and run out what's left in the carb after I'm done, if they're not in fairly constant use. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish tightening this carb down. They actually used they used 2 bolts on it. Regular nut and a jam nut, essentially. That's what I'll be doing as well. Down, should be good. That's good. Let me connect the throttle rod. This usually seems to be the fun in the whole ordeal. Like I said, typically you ain't gotta do this step, but with the way that whoever made this adapter decided to go about this, go about making the adapter. Really the only way to install the carb is to pull the throttle shaft off and do it. Sorry, better lighting. Pull the throttle shaft off and do it the way that I'm doing, unfortunately. Let's see if I can get it this way. One moment. I'll try to get this throttle rod situation figured out. I could have gone with an introduction for a first video, but I figured y'all would like to see the content. I like to put the content out there. I'm more of an information guy, but there we go. Sorry to keep fighting with this so bad. Don't want to stop the camera, but I may have to just so I can get this throttle shaft on. It's not wanting to go into the trigger. So make sure. Not that great of a video. This file it wants to end up working out. Let's see if I can do it this way. There we go. That's all we got. Got full throttle. Yep, full throttle. Now I gotta work out this choke linkage a little bit. May have to straighten it out a little bit this way. See if that works any better. Reason is still not wanting to close. Not wanting to close. Two. Interesting, interesting. There we go. There we go. A little stiff, but I can work on that. Back down. Stiff again. Look it back up here again. Well, throttles or the chokes less than be desired, but shouldn't have no issue. Fuel line's a little kinked. But I may end up pulling this bar back out, cutting one of the ends of the barb off, and swapping on, and lengthening the fuel line so it makes more of a loop and comes down. But other than that, that is a tillotson HS carb on a Mcculloch 510. It's a DSP model. I mean, it's got gobs of compression. DSP still works. Does need a better fuel cap. The what's called in this one is gone. Let me grab a filter for this saw. Go. Top cover back on it. See if she bolts up. How pretty decent. Let's say it bolts up well. Choke still works. Throttle still works. Let me grab a different gas cap for it. That's about all I this video. Sorry for the glare. Sorry, this glare's something off. That's about all I had for this video. I am going to swap the muffler on this Carb because it does have, or on this saw because it does have a crack in it, and probably put a lower tank brace. Then I did get this for that saw, so it's probably going to end up having a full wrap on it. But I appreciate y'all watching. Hope y'all found something insightful. Maybe may help you with design ideas for converting your bullfrog Carb, or maybe you have better luck with yours. I hope you do. For me, I like the Tillotson HS or the walbro STC or walbro WJ series much more than the bullfrog Carb, just because I haven't had much of any luck with them. I will give y'all a little tour of the collection. You can see, obviously, I have the 510 here. Have a 740 getting torn down for rebuilding the engine in it, and probably going to put it in my 172 chassis to save the 172 engine, and I'd like to upgrade to 103 cc's. Just miscellaneous Mac parts, a couple different engines. Got a Husqvarna 410 project. Husqvarna 61 pawpaw saw he gave me. Have a I have a Mcculloch 700 and a 1010 body. That's a pretty decent runner. There's that 510 part saw that I robbed the carburetor adapter off of. It's low in compression, so I'm gonna pull it apart, having new sets of rings for it, and the cylinder looks pretty good. Running Mcculloch 410, no real issues with it. Mac 1010E right hand start. Was an electric start saw, but missing the battery pack. Excuse the mess. Mcculloch 172. Another Mac 1010E or 1010 right hand start. Mcculloch 700, XL 700. Mcculloch Pro 55. Johnson Red 920. Mcculloch XL12, Mcculloch 1010, Mcculloch Pro 55, Husqvarna 266, Mcculloch 1010 right hand start, Mcculloch XL123. Gotta have a 610, Mcculloch 610. That's typically a firewood saw, back of the truck saw. Pioneer farm saw for my dad. I'm getting running. Another Mcculloch Pro 55. Husqvarna 61 with a 162 cylinder and piston. That needs crank bearings. Crank bearings are shot, so it's hitting the top of the cylinder. It's ported. It's pretty nasty. Mint Pioneer farm saw. It's more of a show saw. Probably won't get much use. I save it, collect on it. Pioneer P51 or P50. Apologize. Actually, let me show y'all something very interesting on that saw. 1 second. Let me grab a screwdriver. I actually found this on the site. Not many folks are doing it. I think it's a great idea. As far as air filtration on these saws, it actually is using a Husqvarna 372 X-Torque elbow and Husqvarna 372 filter. Bolts up to the back. You have to do a little modification and then use a farm saw style top cover with the back cutout. But I can show more on that saw later and kind of what I had to do. And then I have Mcculloch 800. Just got this one in. Going to tear it down for a rebuild. Great compression, but I just want to go through it. Got some anti-vibe mounts that are shot. And then I have a Pioneer P42 that is basically a thrown together saw. It rides in the back of the truck most of the time. I said it rides in the back of the truck most of the time. It's kind of just a junker thrown together saw, but hope you like what you saw. Sorry it turned into such a long video. And hopefully I'll have more to come. We'll see how this video does, and hope y'all have a great evening and a good week ahead. Thanks, guys.